Ladies and gentlemen, directing our attention now to the winner's circle as we are about to begin our Red Jacket ceremony. Here is the President and CEO of the New York Racing Association, Chris Kay.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. This is a very, very special week at the Saratoga Racecourse. Last night at the Travers celebration, we honored Maggie Bryant, Jimmy Jerkins, and Javier Castellano, the connection of last year's Travers winner, V.E. Day. And tomorrow is the 146th running of the Travers, along with 6 other graded stake races. We at the New York Racing Association are proud to be hosting some of our sport's most memorable and important races at this iconic racecourse. This morning, we warmly welcomed American Pharoah to Saratoga. 15,000 people showering this incredible colt and Bob Baffert and his wife with a great deal of praise and affection. And now, making this week even more special is the reason we're here today, the 3rd annual Saratoga Red Jacket ceremony. In 2013, we initiated the Red Jacket ceremony by celebrating 3 of the greatest jockeys in Saratoga and thoroughbred racing history: John Velazquez, Jerry Bailey, and Angel Cordero. A plaque honoring their collective achievements hangs outside the Jocks Room in the backyard. Jerry and Angel are here today with us, and I'd ask them to stand, and I'd ask all of us to give them a warm round of applause. Last year, we presented Red Jackets to 3 more giants of our game: the legendary trainers D. Wayne Lucas and H. Allen Jerkins, and our beloved former track announcer Tom Durkin, who retired last year after 24 years at the New York Racing Association. I'd ask them to please stand and ask you to please join me in expressing our appreciation to Wayne and Tom, who are here today, and the late Allen Jerkins. Last month, in 2015, on opening day, July 24th, we opened a wonderful new attraction just behind the grandstand, the Saratoga Walk of Fame. Now each of our Saratoga Red Jacket legends have a home, a place where our fans can learn, appreciate, and respect the incredible contributions made by these great people of our sport. This year, we celebrate the owner, the very lifeblood of our sport, by honoring 2 legendary owners in Saratoga Racecourse and thoroughbred racing history: the visionary Ogden Mills Dinny Phipps and the beloved Marylou Whitney. First, to my right, Dinny Phipps. He's the patriarch of a racing family that extends back in time to the late 19th century, but he is a man who has always looked to the future. As chairman of the New York Racing Association from 1976 to 1983, and as a director on the board of directors for many decades thereafter, he guided our organization through some very difficult challenges and changes, including the onset of nationwide off-track betting and simulcasting, and the awarding of a 25-year franchise to NYRA in 2008. He also has served as the chairman of the Jockey Club. Under his 32-year leadership, he transformed a simple company that maintained the thoroughbred breeding registry into the nation's most prominent organization, creating commercial, for-profit subsidiaries and funding and supporting various partnerships that include Equibase, Encompass, Jockey Club Technology Services, the Grayson Jockey Club Research Foundation, and the Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance, to name just a few of the many organizations with which he has had a great deal of leadership. And as a thoroughbred owner, he has campaigned so many great horses, among them champions Rhythm and Inside Information, and the 2013 Kentucky Derby winner, Orb, all of whom we will see in just a minute. All of us who love thoroughbred racing are the beneficiaries of Dinny's innovations, his visions for the future, and most importantly, his lifelong discipline and leadership within our great sport. So please, if you would direct your attention to the infield boards and the television monitors for a video commemorating the life and accomplishments of Ogden Mills Phipps.
An industry leader through 5 decades, Ogden Mills' Dinny Phipps followed a deep-rooted family tradition into horse racing that dates back to the 19th century and includes his great-grandfather Ogden Mills and his grandmother Gladys Mills Phipps. More recently, Phipps shared his passion for the game with his father, Ogden Phipps, and his late sister, Cynthia Phipps. Hall of Famer Shug McGahee has trained for the Phipps family since 1985.
Obviously, I was thrilled when I got the job to train for the Phippses, but I had no idea that what a family they really were, how good they were going to be to me, and what a run we would have with the type of horses we, I had an idea that, they had the pedigrees and this and that, but aside from the horses and what they've allowed me to do and the freedom they've allowed me to have with them, but just being personally involved with the Phipps family, from Mr. Phipps to Cynthia Phipps to Dinny and his family, has been something that's been very special for me in my life.
In 1989, Dinny campaigned his first champion, 2-year-old Rhythm. The following year, he would take Saratoga's most prestigious race with a strong late rally.
On the extreme outside, here comes Rhythm. They pass the 8th pole, the mile 36 and 2. Rhythm gaining ground on the outside of Sir Richard Lewis gets the lead. Sir Richard Lewis now second, then Shotgun and Scott as they approach the wire with Rhythm in front.
Phipps has owned and bred several champions, and one is enshrined in racing's Hall of Fame. Retired with a 14-for-17 record, Inside Information's final race was a smashing effort in the 1995 Breeders' Cup Distaff.
Inside Information turning it into a runaway. Mike Smith asked her for run, and in an instant, the response was devastating. Inside Information, wow, look at this! A colossal victory! And Heavenly Prize, her stablemate, will be second. Inside Information won by a dozen lengths.
Phipps's involvement in racing has gone far beyond owning and breeding. He served as NYRA's chairman from 1976 to 1983, earning an Eclipse Award of Merit in 1978, and was chairman of the Jockey Club from 1983 until 2015. His leadership at the Jockey Club has been instrumental in addressing the game's most important issues.
Beginning immediately, the Jockey Club will reach out to other like-minded organizations in the industry to devise a strategy and fund its implementation so that thoroughbred racing will have a true national uniform medication program that brings both integrity and pride to our sport. As we leave here today, we shouldn't be asking ourselves if we can afford to build such a program. We should be asking ourselves if we cannot afford to do it.
What he's done, first of all, he took over a very different jockey club 32 years ago, which at that point was doing just breed registries. He was very instrumental in the founding of the NTRA and the Breeders' Cup. So he's been involved in pretty much every major initiative that the sport's had. And then he's owned a lot of great horses that I know have given him a great deal of pleasure, but have given other people pleasure too. So it's quite a career.
And here comes Orb on the outside, now to take the lead as they come down to the 16th pole. It is Orb in front from Normandy Invasion, Marylou and Golden Soul between horses, down to the wire. Orb has won the Kentucky Derby.
And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce Bill Farish, the chairman of the board of the Breeders' Cup and the manager of his family's thoroughbred operation, Lanes End Farm, to serve as Mr. Phipps' presenter.
The year was 1979. It was 9:35 in the evening one warm August Saratoga night when I pulled my bicycle up to a payphone across the street from the old Pepper's Market. I dropped a quarter in the slot and boldly dialed the Phipps house. A very intimidating and perturbed voice answered the phone. "Hi, Mr. Phipps. It's Bill Farish calling. Is Kelly in?" "Bill, do you know what time it is?" Before I could answer the question, the line went dead. I would not speak to Kelly that night. Dinny Phipps has always had an effective way of making his point. To this day, 9:30 is still burned in my memory. It is my great honor today to introduce a man that has been a powerful figure in my life. A man who has set an example of service to this industry that would be hard for anyone to ever duplicate. I've been fortunate to observe his dedication to this great sport from close range and have learned so much from him. For all who don't know, and you've already heard, he was chairman of the New York Racing Association from 1976 to 1983. He followed that immediately by assuming the chairmanship of the Jockey Club in 1983, a position he would hold for the next 32 years. The length of term is impressive, but not near as impressive as the length of accomplishments. Dinny Phipps piloted the evolution of the Jockey Club from simply a breed registry to a well-run family of for-profit subsidiaries that have returned millions of dollars back to the sport. He championed the Grayson Jockey Club Foundation, which has raised millions of dollars for equine research, a role he is very passionate about. He has served on the Breeders' Cup Board in various roles from 2004 to 2014 and was instrumental in the founding of the NTRA, as Stuart mentioned, and has served on its board until 2007. He has been honored by every industry organization one can think of. He was the Thoroughbred Club of America's Man of the Year, the New York Turf Riders, TOBA, and was given the Eclipse Award of Merit, the Earl Mack Foundation Racehorse Retirement Award, and most recently, and maybe most important to him, the Jockey Club Medal. Oh, and I almost forgot, he has had a few good horses. Adjudicating, awe-inspiring, boisterous, dancing forever, dispute, duty dance, educated risk, intrepid hero, majestic light, mining, miner's mark, orb, persistently, pleasant home, point of entry, time for a change, successor, champion 2-year-old colt in 1966, rhythm, champion 2-year-old in 1989, inside information, champion older filly and mare, 1995, storm flag flying, 2-year-old filly champion in 2002, and smuggler, champion 3-year-old filly in 2005. It is my high honor to introduce Ogden Mills Phipps.
So it's always nice to have a great son-in-law and one that praises you in such a manner. I've been around Saratoga a long time. In fact, I think it was 3 years during the Second World War and 1 year, 6 years ago, where I didn't attend this great place. I have seen great horses. I've seen Secretariat and Alydar and Affirmed. And I've seen great horses of my family's: Bold Ruler, Buck Passer, Rhythm, Easy Goer, Personal Ensign, Inside Information, all run here and run well. We're very proud that they were so good at this racetrack. I think some other people I'd just like to say a couple things about. Over the years, I've been watching jockeys on back of horses, and I can just think that you got Ted Atkinson, you got Lafitte Pinkai, you've got Mr. Velasquez, who was here, and you've got Mr. Cordero and Mr. Bailey. I only have one comment about one of them. Angel Cordero was about the best person I ever saw ride at the top of a horse. He was all over it, but he was on the top. And he came to my father's house because we had a problem. We had grandchildren that are 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 years old. And there was a pony out there that was about that tall. He was about 3 feet tall, named Pedro. And Pedro was dumping these kids every time they got it next to him. Angel came out on a Tuesday and said, "I'm going to break that horse for you." After the 11th time he got on that horse, he'd been thrown off 11 straight times. And he looked at me and he said, "You have got to take that horse away from those kids, and I'm never riding it again." You know, we also think of the people that have been wonderful at this track. One of them is here today, Tom Durkin. But I also remember Freddie Capicella, Dave Johnson, and now Larry Comas. And what a great tradition it is at NYRA to have great, great announcers here at Saratoga. In the part of trainers, I was lucky enough to see Sonny Jim Fitzsimmons and work for him for a number of years. Ben Jones, I remember as a very young man. Of course, Mr. Jerkins, Mr. Lucas, and Shug. I salute all of you for great days of racing. And owners, I'm going to take a little liberty today in saying I also was lucky enough to know and watch their horses, Paul Mellon, Bob Clayburgh, Jock and Sonny Whitney, Mrs. Dodge Sloan, and my grandmother and father. I can assure you that if I was walking next to one of them right now, I would not be calling him Paul Mellon. Mr. Mellon would be right on my lips. So I thank you, NYRA and Chris, for the award. You know my love of Saratoga Racecourse, and I thank you very much, and I'm very happy for you too, Marylou.
Thank you. Thank you, Dinny, for all you do for our sport. And now turning to my left, to summarize the incredible life of Marylou Whitney in a few moments would be an impossible task. So let me just say for me, Marylou Whitney is a woman of great grace, great generosity, and great grit, true grit. Her grace was on display for many years at the annual Canfield Casino Gala in Congress Park and can still be felt across the street at the Oklahoma side, where she and her husband, John Hendrickson, host dinners and many other educational and social events as sponsors of the Saratoga Backstretch Appreciation Program. And when Birdstone won the 2004 Belmont Stakes, she apologized for winning and denying the Triple Crown to Smarty Jones. Grace indeed. Her generosity is unparalleled. I've spoken to many people here in Saratoga Springs, and they all tell me the same thing. Marylou Whitney saved this town since the moment she arrived in the late 1950s. Marylou Whitney, founder of the Saratoga Performing Arts Center, also known as SPAC, underwriter of the New York City Ballet Summer Residency at SPAC, founder of the National Museum of Dance, donator of millions of dollars to the Saratoga Hospital, the Saratoga YMCA, and so many other worthy causes. Marylou Whitney is indeed the Queen of Saratoga. And her grit. At the very young age of 69, Marylou Whitney participated in an expedition to the South Pole with Norman Vaughan, who at the time was the only man still alive who was on Admiral Byrd's first expedition to the pole. They spent 3.5 weeks on the ice until they finally arrived at the South Pole. at which time she was given an American flag, and she promised she would deliver it to the North Pole, which she did 4 months later, despite contracting frostbite in her fingers. She is certainly the only woman who has ever accomplished both expeditions within such a short period of time, and I will wager, I know I'm not permitted to by contract, but I will wager that you will, as long as time exists, you will be the only woman to have visited the North Pole, the South Pole, won the Belmont Stakes, and won the Travers Stakes. And now, you are the first woman to be bestowed with the Saratoga Red Jacket and inducted into the Saratoga Walk of Fame. So please, let's join me now in taking a look at a video highlighting the extraordinary Marylou Whitney.
Few people are as respected and loved by their community as Marylou Whitney. Whether she is reviving a centuries-old family tradition of racing, a city down on its luck, or donating her time and money to help people and animals, the Queen of Saratoga's selfless acts of kindness have made her a national treasure. Whitney was first introduced to Saratoga and thoroughbred racing by her second husband, C.V. Sonny Whitney. In the 1960s, she began hosting the Whitney Gala at Sonny's request to liven up the town.
In the 70s, Saratoga was in pretty bad straits. The track had lost its appeal. The luster of the town and the track was not there. And Marylou spent hours and hours of her volunteer time to go on national television, on feature programs, on nightly news programs, national. She did cover stories for magazines, national newspapers. And she really was the one, in my mind, that brought it back and made it the summer place to be.
Marylou was a driving force behind the creation of two landmarks in the Saratoga Spa State Park, the National Museum of Dance and the Saratoga Performing Arts Center. Additionally, she has played a key role at the local YMCA. In the 1980s, C.V. Whitney dispersed his racing stock to not burden Marylou with the business. Following his death in 1992, Marylou went to great lengths to buy back many of the Whitney mares and preserve the family racing legacy. One of those mares was Proud Birdie, who produced 2003 Kentucky Oaks winner Birdtown and a colt named Birdstone.
Lady Tack in final round. Birdtown digs down. Lady Tack is surging to her. They're coming down to the finish. Birdtown is tenacious. As Lady Tack surges, here's the wire. Birdtown. Defeat was not an option for her.
Well, I think that was amazing. And obviously when she came up with the Dear Birdie, you know, when she bought that mare, and we got, you know, Birdtown and Birdstone out of that, and we just keep it going. It's just amazing. And that was, you know, the C.V. Whitney, and that was the Whitney line.
After winning the Grade 1 Champagne at 2, Birdstone entered the 2004 Belmont Stakes as a 36-to-1 long shot. Few gave him a chance to upset Triple Crown hopeful Smarty Jones.
120,000, but Birdstone is going to make him earn it today. The whip is out on Smarty Jones. It's been 26 years. It's just one furlong away. Birdstone is an upside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes.
2 months later, Birdstone proved his Belmont was no fluke, prevailing in a memorable Travers under stormy conditions.
Zeno 1-2 with the 16th to go, and little Birdstone digs down. The cliff's edge could not get to him in the darkness at Saratoga.
Whitney's role in thoroughbred racing extends far beyond breeding and owning, earning her an Eclipse Award of Merit in 2010. She has given generously to the cause of racehorse aftercare through the Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation and Kentucky Horse Park.
any horse that she ever bred is welcome back home on the farm if the owner no longer wishes to race them, which is phenomenal. She'll go and pick them up in Montana and bring them back to the farm.
Another obligation we must share is our backstretch workers. They are the sport's unsung heroes. These wonderful people work long hours in dangerous situations while often living in poor conditions. All of us should try more to improve their lives and advance their dignity.
Whitney and husband John Hendrickson extend their gratitude to these people through the Backstretch Appreciation Program, which provides meals and activities to stable help and their families.
This tent that she puts with her husband out here in the backstretch area means a lot to them. They feel really grateful. That is why it's called the appreciation tent. And knowing that they're being appreciated by somebody who's very well respected in the horse racing industry where they work, that feels really great.
You know, she just is a wonderful, wonderful person, generous, gracious, and she certainly is an icon. She deserves the title Queen of Saratoga.
Thank you. To present Marylou Whitney, please welcome one of the Capital Region's most respected and accomplished journalists, Liz Bishop of CBS 6. Many of you recognize Liz from her nightly seat behind the anchor desk at CBS 6 News. But we also must remember Liz is a pioneer for journalists and for women on a national level. She has won numerous awards for her reporting, including 3 regional Edward R. Murrow Awards and a New York State Emmy. A longtime resident of Saratoga Springs, Liz first met Marylou more than 35 years ago. And the two have formed a tremendous friendship and continue their work to ensure Saratoga remains strong, thriving, and vibrant. Please join me in welcoming Liz Bishop.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. I'm very honored to be with you today, but I realize I am a poor substitute for my great friend Maureen Louie, who was to have introduced Marylou today. Maureen wrote a beautiful speech, and I am here in her stead because Maureen is attending to a family situation. She wanted me to tell Marylou that she loves her, of course, and that she is here with you in spirit today. And I'm really honored and proud now to share with you her heartfelt introduction of the Queen of Saratoga. My dear, dear friend Marylou Whitney is truly the Queen of Saratoga and so much more. I am so pleased to have the immense honor of introducing to you the most deserving woman I know in racing. Her professional and benevolent initiatives have reached every aspect of Saratoga and this sport. Her love and dedication to racing extends from the backstretch, where she has improved the lives and the dignity of the workers, to her initiatives in catapulting track attendance and spot tourism, through her generosity and media spotlights on Saratoga Racecourse, at a time when Saratoga was in desperate need of recapturing its luster and fan appeal. And my, is she good at finessing the media. Her magazine and newspaper cover stories that spanned the country and her appearances on national feature and news shows spurred widespread new interest in Saratoga that ultimately translated into thousands more fans at the track and guests in hotel rooms. She was Saratoga's secret weapon, and she is the racing community's best friend. Her loving concern for the equine stars of racing is unmatched. Her horses are always welcome back to the farm if their current owner deems them no longer able to race. And no one has done more in fostering friendships with fans in the backyard or grandstand than this dynamic icon, a woman whom the racing masses greet by affectionately yelling out her first name. She dines weekly with the grooms, the hot walkers, and hundreds of other horse caregivers at the Sunday night backstretch appreciation dinners that she and her husband, John Hendrickson, created 8 years ago. Marylou Whitney is truly the most extraordinary and gracious hostess to ever entertain at the spa. And while she has brought stars and royalty to the track to emphasize its importance as the summer place to be, she has also attended many brown bag lunches with seniors and the underprivileged who have acquired strength and great joy from her attention to their needs as a peer, not as a queen. Yes, Marylou is certainly the Queen of Saratoga, but she did not inherit this title. She ascended to the throne that is built on the tremendous love and respect from the community. For most of her life, this courageous businesswoman and astute horsewoman has worked feverishly and unselfishly on behalf of the city and the track that she loves deeply. Quite simply, Marylou is nice when no one is looking. Her generosity to a myriad of diverse charitable institutions is unparalleled in Saratoga, Kentucky, Florida, New York, and beyond. Saratoga would not be the great city it is today without her love and philanthropy. This inductee's graciousness, generosity, and accomplishments are so profuse that her life's deeds will most certainly be chronicled by historians. In the history books, there has never been a Queen of Saratoga before Marylou, nor will there ever be another. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating my dear, dear friend, the most iconic figure Saratoga has ever known, Marylou Whitney. Long live our precious and beloved Queen.
I guess at my age, people start giving you awards. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. This is a great honor. When I arrived in 1958, I knew I was home. This town has inspired me to be a better person. I've learned if you let her, Saratoga will bring out the best in everyone. To all Saratoga, thank you for my wonderful life. May God bless you, and may God shine His love on Saratoga and on this track.
That was beautiful. Thank you, Marylou. Each year, in conjunction with the Red Jacket ceremony, we also create plaques commemorating the achievements of our Saratoga Red Jacket recipients. The Saratoga Walk of Fame is now the home to these new plaques, so our loyal fans here can see them for years to come. We invite you to visit the Walk of Fame today and throughout the meet. Thank you for attending the 3rd annual Walk of Fame induction ceremony, and may I ask you one final time, a round of applause, please, for 2 of the greatest owners and greatest people in our game, Marylou Whitney and Ogden Mills Phipps. All right, can we interest you in some food?